Your favorite people to debate when you're going out there and you're talking to kids. What's your favorite conversation when you're having with them? What is your favorite where you actually enjoy? You said, okay, we disagree. We're not on the same page.
Yeah.
But I enjoy kids on campuses who do X, Y, Z.
You bet. What I really enjoy is talking to someone who has totally dismissed God, was an atheist like you were at one point, totally dismissed Christ. And I love to begin to pile up the evidence that God exists, a lot of evidence that God exists, a lot of evidence that Jesus really rose from the dead, a lot of evidence that the New Testament Gospels are historically reliable. And when I begin to see the eyes change and the facial expressions change, and when I begin to watch them realize, oh gosh, I can't dismiss God as a fairy tale. I cannot dismiss Jesus as a fairy tale. Instead, I'm going to have to take him seriously. Oh, Patrick, that just lights my fire.
Yeah, I bet. You know, when you're out there having these, is there a common thread you notice that comes up where you can sit there and say, yeah, I can tell, you know, from this university, Ole Miss, you guys were all bringing this up. From this university, they said this. From that university, they said this. Where you notice a common thread amongst what professors are telling kids, where they said, my professor said this, my teacher said this. Do you notice a trend and a pattern?
Yeah. There are different academic levels on different campuses. The Ivy League schools, Stanford, have a reputation that they've earned. There are other schools where it's very difficult to have an intelligent conversation where you go point, counterpoint, and what's the evidence for what you believe. So there are some differences academically, intellectually, but coming to faith in Christ is not primarily an intellectual thing. It's primarily an issue of the heart. I'm a follower of Christ because of God's love that was shown to me through my dad and my mom, and there is nothing that's going to dissuade me about Christ because I have experienced his love in my life. But then as you grow, you have to think it through in terms of, is this the truth, or was I just cleverly hoodwinked by my parents in believing this? So you've got to be a skeptic, and there's a place for that. And I was just reading the Gospels with a question, how many times did Jesus ask questions? Do you know he asked over 290 questions? And he asked the question, what do you think? What do you think? A man had 100 sheep. One wandered away. He leaves the 99 on the hills and he goes looking for that one lost sheep. What do you think? And he's challenging us to think clearly through the issues. So that's why it's such a privilege to talk with people and ask, what do you think? I was speaking after doing open air at Columbia University. I had the privileges of joining a class that was studying the difference between Calvin and Zwingli's view of war. And the teacher, the professor, was a postdoc grad from England. And it was a brilliant class. After the class, I'm walking out with the professor. I said, Professor, that was an amazing discussion. Thank you for treating me to that. Now, let me ask you, sir, what do you believe? Do you believe in God? Do you believe in Christ? Or what's the option? And this brilliant guy looks me in the face and says, I am not a good person for you to ask that question of. That's scary. That's an unexamined life. You don't know what you're living for. You haven't analyzed what motivates you through life.
Did he tell you why he's not the right person to ask that question?
He just said, I can't answer you. It's this big myth of agnosticism that you can live your life not knowing, and that's intellectually acceptable and intellectually respected. Patrick, it's impossible to live an agnostic life out. You have to decide, is this person valuable or not? If so, why or why not? You have to answer the question, what's the purpose of my life? What are my ambitions and goals? You have no choice. You have no choice but to make ethical decisions every day. Do you cheat the IRS or do you pay your taxes? You have no choice but you have to answer the question every day. Am I going to lie or tell the truth? Am I going to cheat and steal, or am I going to respect another person's property? And then, by golly, you're going to have to sit in funerals of grandma and grandpa and mom and dad. And I'm sorry, if you don't ask the question, is there life after death or not, you're brain dead. Am I going to see this person again or not? So you have to answer those questions. All of them. Everybody does. And that's why this idea of I don't know, you can't live that out. You have to say, no, I'm never going to see this person again. Yes, I am going to see this person again. Why? Yes, there is a purpose to my life. This is it. Why do you believe that? Yes, I think there are some moral absolutes, maybe not many, but at least a few. Why? Who defines those moral absolutes? Who defines the purpose of your life? Who sets the ambitions that you are following? I mean, if you're a halfway thinking person, you've got to examine what's going on inside. What are you doing with your life? You can't live agnostic. If you ask me, hey, Cliff, you like Coke or Pepsi? I can say, I don't know, I'm agnostic. You're right. I don't know whether I like Coke or Pepsi. And guess what? It really doesn't matter. But when it comes to God and the question of human value, human purpose, ethics, and is there life after death, you have no option but to face those questions.
Could it be because folks who say that, they're so logical and everything has to be proven now, where the idea is no matter what I do, I will never get 100% answer to those questions. So why put my energy into something that is either faith or it's never going to be 100%? Why would I do that? It's not worth me doing that.
You're absolutely right.
Okay.
And here's what's wrong with that. You and I have beautiful wives, don't we? Do you know your wife 100%?
No.
No, and I don't know my wife 100%. Does that mean you and I can't have a relationship with our wives because we don't understand them 100%? No, we have a wonderful relationship with our wives. In other words, you've got to live with mystery, and I got to live with mystery. And if I can't learn to live with mystery, I'm going to have a horrible relationship with my wife, and you will have a horrible relationship with your wife. To demand that our wives tell me everything there is to know about them, they could never do that, and I couldn't grasp it. Well, if that's true about our relationship with our wives and our children, how much more true that is about a relationship with God. Where on earth do I get off with this intellectual arrogance that says, unless God answers every question I've got, unless I can understand everything about God, I can't believe? If you get a PhD in biology, do you know everything there is to know about biology? No. If you do postdoc work in biology, do you know everything there is to know about biology? No. Does anybody know everything there is to know about any area of life, be it biology, chemistry, history, psychology? No. We have partial knowledge, and you better learn to live with mystery. Well, if that's true about every branch of knowledge, it's going to be true about God.
You better get used to living with mystery.
Yep.
Because that applies to kids.
Yep.
That applies to spouse.
Yeah.
Friends, people you hire.
Yep.
You don't have a choice. You
right.
hope to be somewhat intuitive, be able to read at least a little bit to say this guy's full of it or not.
Yeah. Yep.
To live with that, huh? Do you know the last time we introduced this hat, what happened to it? Within seconds, it sold out. We ordered 1,000 of these. Like this, it was gone. And we got hundreds of emails saying, hey, I won one of these. Can you please put it back up again for us to order? So this is what we're doing just to prepare on what's going to happen. Because the Olympics are about to start, and because those of you who watch this podcast love America, this hat says USA on the front of it. If you're proud American, you love America, sport this hat. On the site, it says Future Looks Bright. On the back, it says Valuetainment. On the side, it's got the American flag. And on the lid, it says the future looks bright. Never have we had a merch that sold out as fast as this. So here's what we're doing. That's the QR code. You go out there. We have a special USA gear, Team USA gear that is here on vtmerch.com. I'm telling you right now, when you go there, it's going to tell you on back order, but it's going to be first come, first serve because we're ordering. There's some amount that's going to go out immediately, but some of it's going to be on back order. The shirts, the hats, highly, highly recommend during this season, the next 3 to 4 months. When you go to work, maybe you don't want to feel like you want to wear some other hats, but maybe you're comfortable wearing a Team USA hat. Sport this gear when you're going to work, when you're going out over the weekend. Let people know you're proud to be an American. We got the gear here for you. A bunch of different things. If you can zoom in on a couple of those shirts when you order it, it says USA on the front, and it says Future Looks Bright on the back, and it's got the American flag on it as well. So again, go to vtmerch.com, place your order. Don't be one of the ones that hesitates. Order 2, 3 for your friends, your family, your peers. There's even gear for women. The last time we had some female gear that we announced, women's gear we announced, it actually went very quickly. I got a bunch of pictures as well of people. When you get this gear, sport it, tag us. We share it on the podcast while we're going through it. So again, do your thing.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.